Miniature Market has thousands of board games at discounted prices. Click the direct link below to see all of those discounted games. Hello my friends, today we're explorers going all over the world and exploring different ruins. Machu Picchu, maybe some other ones in South America, maybe all over the world. Today we're taking a look at ruins. This is a card crafting game. This is from Allplay, designer John D Clair, one of my favorite designers. This is a re-implementation of an older game called Custom Heroes, which I was in love with. Let me show you this game's plays and I'll tell you what I think on the other side and which game did I like better. In Ruins, you're going to get a hand of 9 cards each round, and they're going to range from rank 1 all the way up to rank 10, but you're going to have the ability to change and augment these values to higher values, and even put some special abilities in some of these cards. Now, at the beginning of each round, you're going to get 9 cards, and 1 card you can flip from their day side to their night side, which is a more powerful version of that card. So for example, if I have this 1 and I want to do it at nighttime, it's going to be a 3 with a little special ability with a little lit there, we'll talk about later. So even right off the bat, at the beginning of the game, before you even start, you get to upgrade a card, which is cool. Flipped it over, these all come in sleeves, and here now it's a 3, and it has a little special ability, we'll talk about this later. And what you're trying to do is a card shedding game. So you're trying to build sets of the same rank, like 3s, 4s, 7s, things like that. Because this is a card shedding game, someone's going to lead with a certain amount of cards. In this case, they just threw a single. So the next player has to play a single, but it has to be higher. So maybe the next player plays a 3. Maybe the next player plays a 6. Maybe the next player passes, gets back to the first player, they play a 9, and let's just say everybody passes. Well, this player finished it because everybody else passed, and so they'll discard these, and then they will start a new trick, and you're trying to run out of cards. Now let's say that player leads with 2 7s. So now 2 cards are played, so everyone has to play 2 cards and 7 or higher in order to be able to play. Now if they played another set of 2 7s, then it would actually skip the next player. But they're not completely out because even if you pass, you can come back in. The trick only ends after everyone consecutively passes except the player that played the last set. So let's say the next person plays 2 10s, everybody else passes, and then that player is going to lead. They clear these and they lead up a new set. Or let's maybe say we wanted to beat or tie that 10. Let's say I had a 10 and this 4. Well, how's that going to work? Well, there's these discovery cards. Everyone starts with 3 fires lit. This shows the cost, 1, 2, 2, and 3. Well, if I have this plus 6, I could add it to my 4 and make it a plus 10. So I would extinguish 2 of mine. These are typically in front of you, and I will take these. Now, that makes this cheaper. That's a wild we'll talk about later. And then this comes out. And so these are things that people can sort of buy throughout the game and add. Now what that did is I slid this in there and it shows the plus 6. It actually put a ruin right there, yellow. And so now this is 6 plus 4, which is 10. I have 2 10s. It now skip. It would skip the next player, and then we keep going. Let's say no one else could tie or beat that, then the round that little trick would end, and I would lead. Now over the course of multiple rounds, see what happens by default. These cards are all going to get shuffled in at the end of the round, and you might get dealt this back, or somebody else might get dealt this back, and they might end up adding other ones. You can add up to 3. They're different colors, so now you know it's maxed out, and plus it has things on all 3 sites. And now this thing has 3 abilities. It's a 4 plus a 6, so it's a 10. Here you can take 2 of your extinguished torches and relight them, giving you some more currency to buy in the game. Or you can draw 1 from the deck and then discard 1 from your hand, giving you some more flexibility of what cards you do. So you're making these cards more powerful. But another thing you can do is you can add a claim card. I'm the purple player, I added this to it. This now is my card. This is mine. So now once these things get shuffled, you only have 2 of these throughout the entire game. So now when everything gets shuffled back in at the end of the round, whoever gets this, if it's not me, they must give it to me, which is great because I have a powerful card, but the player that gave it to me has an advantage now because they have 1 less card to go out and you're trying to go out. Now some of the other effects we didn't talk about was like a wild. It can be an actual wild rank, which is great. Or an extra card where you can count 1 extra card of the same rank towards the number of the ruins you played. So it's like instead of put 2 cards down, but now it's 3. Here you can check whether your opponent still in the round has fewer cards left. They draw 1 ruin from the deck. So different things you can do. Now once everyone except the last player has gone out, you'll score the round. Now depending on the player count, you'll have certain scoring here. First place gets 5, second place gets 3, third place gets 2, fourth place gets -1 in a 4-player game. But it scales for each player count. So if after the end of the round, purple won, red came in second, this came in third, like that, and then you go to the second round, you go again. However, if anyone starts the round with 9 or 10 points and they win, meaning they go out first, they win the game. Otherwise, at the end of the 4th round, whoever has the most points and the player that went out last round gets to go in a final battle in the 5th round, and whoever wins that one is the winner. All right, let me say first, when Custom Heroes first came out many years ago, I loved that game. Like, absolutely loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. It was my favorite card crafting game from John D Clair. I thought the game was just fantastic. Originally, it was from AEG, and I was waiting for more expansions to come out, and it never came, and the game didn't get a whole lot of traction, unfortunately. So when I heard that this was being redone, and I looked at the theme and some of the mechanisms just for the high level, I was very skeptical of this because I loved Custom Heroes so much that I was like, oh man, yes, they're finally redoing Custom Heroes with what looks like a boring theme, and now they messed with all the mechanisms. I was like furious at first. But hear me out, let me show you what happened here. So what they've done here is actually really good because they've made a great game more streamlined. They've sort of retooled a lot of the things that were a little clunky when Custom Heroes first came out. Now, it came out many years ago, so back in those days, it didn't feel very clunky. It felt a little long, as things like that, but it didn't feel super clunky until you play this and you're like, whoa, okay. All right, this is definitely a streamlined version of that. This essentially is card shedding with customization, which is fantastic because card shedding is super fun. There's all sorts of different games. Some games you can only play ranks of matches of cards, like sets. Some games you could play sets or runs. This one is only sets. Sometimes you have to beat a card by playing more cards than the other one. This one's like, okay, no, you have to play the same amount of cards as somebody else. But the number has to be higher. So has that little twist there too. But the customization is what makes this game really stand out. As you're seeing, even just flipping the card over tonight, right at the beginning of stuff, and all the different customization you can do. So let's get into each of these a little bit. You're trying to find the right time for the right discovery. Whether it's trying to get the right rank, whether it's trying to make one of your things a wild, whether it's trying to make this a third card, even though I put it on here, whether it's refreshing my flames that I already used this round to then buy another thing that could really help me out. It's really clever because you're waiting for that right thing to happen. And it might be out there and you might not be able to afford it. So sometimes you're sort of waiting for someone else to buy one, let those slide down, and then you're like, oh good, I can finally afford this one now this round. That's kind of cool too. The discovery abilities are awesome. They're wilds, making ranks, all the things I just mentioned, unextinguishing your fire, things like that. They're clean, they're easy to do. They took some of the more clunky ones from the original game and removed them. Like there was one where you could bet at the beginning of the round if you're going to go out first, and you get more points if you did, you get more minus points if you didn't. There were ones where like you could just basically trump and win a hand. There were some other like clunky things in there that they took out, which at the time I really liked them in that game. And now that they're gone, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a lot less explaining, a lot more straightforward. And so yeah, they definitely trimmed the fat off of that other game, even in the things that you could add to it. This has a much better scoring and end game timing. The biggest problem I had with the original game was it just dragged on too long. It was 6 rounds. Oh my goodness. And you had to have 10 points and win that round in order to like end it before after 6 rounds you go to the final thing. And it was just too long. I even had told them during the development, even at the time, the first time I played it at Gamma, many years the year before it came out, I was like, hey, you guys got to fix this end game. Here's the problems. They did shorten it, and they did do some things to make it better, and they altered the scoring a little bit, but it was still too long. Here, 4 rounds. Most of the scoring is the same. I think one player count had a slight difference in scoring. But the fact that you go in with 9 or 10, and you go in first and you win, great. Made it a little bit easier. And then also, now at the end of the 4th round, hey, whoever has the most points, those players or player, and whoever went out first goes to the final round. And it's faster, and that gives it exciting, allows you to know that you're never out of it, which is great. More about that in a minute. One of the big things here is claiming your own card, because you're making these powerful cards, and they're just getting shuffled back in the deck by default, right? And then in Custom Heroes, you would never get that card back for sure. It's just, hey, I might get it back, but I'm making this card powerful for somebody else. I love the best new thing for this was the claiming the card, because you get 2 of those, you claim it as you saw in the overview. Hey, I made this super powerful card. Someone made it kind of powerful. I made it more powerful. Now I'm claiming it, and now I'm going to get that at the beginning of every turn. I just think that just makes this game so much better. It's the best new thing about this game. Also, flipping a card to knight each round. Awesome. Like, you don't even start the game yet, and you're like, I'm already beefing up a card. I'm making another set. It already feels good before you even start playing. It ramps up the excitement, and I like that aspect of it. The catch-up mechanism is fantastic because, you know, if you win that final, if you win the final round, you're in. You know, in the last game I played of this, I was in first place going into the last round. I ended up coming in second. The person who was behind me finished first. They were ahead of me by 1. The person that won that round was way in the last, and he got to make it to the final round and ended up winning the whole thing. So it was like, it was really cool. I love that aspect. So before I get to the things that are negative about the game that I didn't like, I just want to talk a little bit more about this in Custom Heroes. There's a few things about Custom Heroes that I miss. I miss the theme. I miss the artwork. I miss them like throwing a hot dog because it's -1. Like, I really miss that because the Ruins theme, whatever. It's kind of boring. The cards fit on, you know, the runes fit on that spot in the cards. Sure, that's fine. It's not as cool as having something in somebody's hand. I wish they would have stuck with the original art and the original thing, but it is what it is. That's one thing I miss from Custom Heroes. The other thing I miss is sort of you had a shield and you could sort of hide your currency, so people didn't know how much you could buy or what you could buy. And then like there was a secret thing of like, hey, getting something, putting it behind your sleeve, and then dropping it. Sure, people don't really know what you're putting it in, so some of it's still secret. Those are the two things I sort of missed the most. Also, in the other game, you would get a certain amount of those transparencies depending on how bad you did the round before. So it was a little bit of a catch-up mechanism. But here you're getting the claim cards, and that sort of helps that as well. So, but overall, other than the artwork and such, this is a much better game. And I'm surprised to say this because, again, at first look, before I had played it, and I just heard about it, I read the rules, I'm like, and I looked at it, I'm like, why? I've waited so long for a new version to come out. Why did you do this to it? But I'm happy. This is the better version. Now let's talk about things I didn't like about it. On the little transparencies, what they are, the icons of those, should have been a lot larger. They should have been just as large as the actual number on the card because they're really hard to see, especially in dim lit areas. So they should have made those modification icons as the same size as the numbers. I don't know why they didn't. There's room there to do that. It just makes it really hard to see some of these tiny little icons. Hey, it's a card game. You're still going to be dealt with you're dealing with what you're dealt. It's a card game. Okay, so randomness is going to play its way. Hopefully that evens out over the course of the game. Allplay puts out a lot of great small games. The consistent problem with a lot of these small games are the rules. And Allplay, please, if you're listening, please fix this. Almost all of these small games, there's rules left out, or there's the vagueness, or there's clarity that needs to be stated. If you're gonna fit to being rigid to fit these rules on this tiny 2-page thing, at the very least, please put a QR code on the back and say, hey, for rules, exceptions, and FAQs, scan this. There you could put some more rules, some more full things like that. For example, there was a ton of stuff missing from these rules that I had to text the designer, John D Clair, about it. Luckily, he was able to answer me like as I was playing stuff. But like in the last round, they don't even talk about how you set up the last round. What do you do? Like, okay, there's only 2 of us left. What do you do with all the cards that were claimed from other players? Do they go out or do they stay in? Well, apparently they stay in, and if you get dealt them, you keep them, which is a little odd because now one player, if there's just 2 players, could end up with like their own claimed cards and claimed cards from other people. They could have a super powerful hand. Personally, I like to remove the claim cards from the other players that aren't in it, but John told me that's how it works. But the thing was, the rule wasn't there. So there's things that are missing. I wish they would, in all of these small box games, QR code, exceptions to FAQ, please Allplay, do this. The last one, cleanup takes a lot of time because you've got to unsleeve everything. You've got to take out all the transparent cards. You got to take out the claims, set them aside. So it does take a little while. Flip them from nighttime to daytime. Make sure everything's clean, and you can miss one. That took a lot of time. The worst thing actually is probably when you first get the game, you have to pull the little cellophane off of every one of those transparent cards. It's a nightmare. It takes like 15, 20 minutes. It's not fun, but at least they're not scratched. So there you have that. So overall, I love this version of the game. It's the best one there. If you like card shedding games, if you like card crafting games, either of those two, this is where they collide. This is the best. And for all these reasons, it's getting my highest honor because it is going to replace Custom Heroes. I can't believe I'm saying this, so it's getting a Saxophone Serenade. Here we go. Game Toppers upgrades every game you play, being the one table to rule them all with Game Toppers, leg kits, dining covers, premium game mats, and more. In their 5.0 Kickstarter, they found a way to deflate prices to pre-pandemic levels without sacrificing their quality brand, and in some cases by $200, plus dropping the shipping price as much as 50%, saving another $100. Go to GameToppersLLC.com to late pledge now.